So far, we've looked at how to prompt AI properly and how to read and understand the code that it gives you. But in this lesson, we're covering something just as important: what to do when AI gets it wrong. And I do want to be upfront about this. AI will get things wrong occasionally. Not all the time, but it can happen. It might use a commandlet that doesn't exist anymore, get the syntax slightly off, miss something specific to your environment, or give you something that runs but doesn't actually do what you asked. So knowing how to spot those problems and fix them is a core sysadmin skill. But the good news is AI can help you fix its own mistakes. So before we look at examples, I want to run through the most common problems you'll actually encounter. First of all, there's something called hallucinated commandlets. AI will occasionally invent a command that sounds completely legitimate, but it doesn't actually exist. It'll write it with total confidence and it will look okay, but when you run it, it's going to throw an error saying that it can't find that commandlet. There's also syntax errors, small mistakes in how the code is written that stop it from running at all. These are actually usually pretty easy to spot because they cause an immediate error, so that's why we always want to test our scripts. Thirdly, there's logic errors. This one's a little bit more subtle. The script runs without errors, but it doesn't do what you want. Maybe it's checking the wrong condition, or filtering the wrong way, or just producing an output that doesn't match what you expected. And of course, there's environment mismatches. AI doesn't know your exact setup unless you tell it, and if you don't, it might write script that works on Windows Server 2019 but not Windows Server 2025, or it's going to assume that a module is installed that you don't actually have. So let's say, for example, we want to generate a script and let's imagine that something goes wrong and we need to know how to fix it. So I'm in Claude at the moment and I'm going to say, write a PowerShell script that retrieves all Active Directory users who are members of the domain admin groups and export the results to a CSV. Alright, so here we go. It's going to go ahead and create us that PowerShell scripting task. Alright, we're going to let it do its thing. And once we've got the script and you run it and you imagine there's some sort of error, all right, this is a very common example. So you create a PowerShell script and there's just something that goes wrong. Well, what do? Well, essentially you have to prompt it and you can say to it what the error is and ask it how to fix it. So there we go. We've gotten a really amazing script here. All right. This one is very detailed. It's got all of the details about writing the warnings to the console. There is even some comments in here to kind of give us an idea of what the code does. And there's a breakdown of what the script does. But just for our imagination's sake, we'll say, okay, when I run that script, I get this error. All right. And we're giving it the exact error that we get. So what it's going to do is it's going to go and tell us how we can go and fix it. All right. This is the single most useful technique that I think I can teach you. Whatever error that you're getting, just copy and paste it into the AI and ask it how to fix it. And in my expertise and in my experience, usually 8 or 9 times out of 10, it's going to solve its own problems, right? And this can work, again, if it was a syntax error, a logic error, if there was environment mismatches. Say, for example, it printed out a script that was only compatible with Windows Server 2019. We could just let it know, hey, actually, I'm on Windows Server 2025. In how do I go about fixing this kind of thing, and it's going to go and tell us exactly how to do that. Now, sometimes the script can work perfectly, but it could be improved upon. Maybe it's not very readable, or maybe it doesn't handle edge cases, or maybe you just want to make it more robust before you use it regularly. So what you can do is you can say to it that it works, but you want to improve on it and suggest any improvements. So for example, we could say the script works, but I want to improve it. Can you review it and suggest any improvements to make it more robust, easier to read, and production ready? So now it's going to go through a thorough review. It's telling us that it's found 4 areas that this script could be improved upon. So to wrap up, when AI does get it wrong, don't panic and don't start from scratch. Paste in the errors that you're receiving, and then you can describe what the expected results are versus what you're actually seeing. That way, AI knows exactly what the intended output is. It can go and fix its own mistake, you can test it, and hopefully, even with potentially a couple of prompts, you can get the perfect script that you need. The combination of good prompting, reading the code, and knowing how to fix problems when they come up, that's the full loop, and we've now covered all three of them. So I want you to go ahead and practice this yourself. Jump into any AI, whether it's ChatGPT, Claude, Copilot, ask it to write a script and then build upon that script, all right? It's the most important thing, and in our upcoming lessons where we actually see some of these scripts in progress, I'll show you as well about how we can correct them live in the demonstration. For now though, I want to thank you for sticking with me in this lesson. See you in the next one.